Hey guys, and this is Jared with GoPro Hero 3 Vids coming back to you with a second video on how to use your new GoPro Hero 3 Black. So we're going to go and power on here. And I'm using version 3.00 firmware for my GoPro. That's basically just a new software that they came out with recently. I'll be coming back to you with a new video on the wireless Wi-Fi controls later. But right now we're just going to finish up these camera and video modes. We finished up video modes last time, now we're going to look at cameras. So I'm going to say right off the bat, my straight go-to for cameras is 12 megapixel wide. That takes a lot of space. So if you're going to do like a time lapse and you want to get a lot more out of it, you might want to do like 7 megapixel, but that really depends on your card. So we're going to cycle right over here to settings, press mode once more, and we'll be at the camera icon. And right now you see 12 megapixel wide. We're going to hit that and we have more camera options. So basically 12 megapixel, the lower numbers are going to take less space. Wide is that fisheye effect that you get with, you know how GoPro is when you take a video, you have it set on wide. You get that really big fisheye effect. If you don't want that, you're probably going to lose your 12 megapixel. You can cycle down to 7 and get medium. Alright, so we've just finished looking at the photo application. So like what kind of resolutions you want for your photos. Now, like I said, higher resolutions take up more space. It's a no-brainer. But now you kind of got an idea which each one looks like. We're going to skip on over now. This is something called continuous photo. It's almost like burst, except you have a little bit more control. It's you can set it here. Now when you normally take a picture, you push the shutter button and it takes one picture. But you can set it so it can take up to 3 pictures per second, or all the way up to 10. But it starts in at 3, so you can hold your button down and it'll go click, 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 3 pictures per second. You can do up to 30. And then it'll, time out or whatever. But like you can do up to 10 pictures per second, so you'd have 3 seconds obviously of hold button time. So it's kind of like a burst mode, except you've got a bit more control. So we're going to go ahead and set this all the way up to 10. And now we're going to give this a shot and try it outside, and I'm just going to show you kind of how that works. Alright, so we're going to do, it's able to take up to 10 pictures per second. By holding down the shutter button, it can go up to 30 pictures if you hold it down that long. Now, what the difference is between this and burst, I don't really know why you would use this. You might as well just do burst then, but then you can kind of choose in the moment. You've got a bit more control. So here we go, we've got this. So as you can see, that's what your settings are going to look like, 10 pics per second. We're on our camera icon. And we're going to take a picture of that flower and kind of slowly move down. Hopefully it works okay. And hold. Now it's got to process that. And as you can see, we've got an extra 30 pictures. Now if you don't want to do 30 pictures, you can just go like this. We'll point it over somewhere else, over at the clock maybe. And you can just hold it down. Say you don't want that many pictures, you can just go like this. Hold, let go. You can see it's processing. Now we don't have quite that many pictures. We don't have the extra 30. Alright, so I've just quickly whipped up some of these 30 photos that we took outside on there because there's a lot to go through. I'm just going to quickly view them on the iPad here. So that's what it basically looks like. So it's like the same photo all the time, but you're going to get like a really nice burst shot. See, you got 30 photos. As you can see, it works really well. It's like a really clear picture. Here are even some of the ones we took a little bit later on. We ended up at the bottom here. But if you just shuffle on back, you can see we were holding the button down. So it's basically, you're basically looking at a burst mode, which we are actually going to go over right now. So as you can see, that's pretty awesome. I'm just going to go back, set it to single. We're going to move on to the burst setting, which is pretty much like the continuous photo, except the only option you have is burst. So the new feature for the Hero 3 Black is 30 pictures in 1 second. That is just amazing. And that's 12 megapixel too, so like that's processing fast. So that's going to be like your action sports. In fact, 30 pictures in 1 second might even be too much for you. So you can do 30 pictures in 2 seconds or 30 pictures in 3 seconds, and you need to judge accordingly. Now it takes a little bit of skill to learn how to judge whether or not you need 1 or 3 seconds, but it all really depends in the moment. You can even switch back down to your 10 pictures standard in 1 second. But I like the 30 pictures in 1 second because that is just total a novelty. You can't get that in like many other cameras at all. Alright, so we're gonna have a bit of fun here. So we're gonna move right over 2 clicks, and we are at the burst setting. So we're gonna set my camera over here, and we're going to do a burst. I'll let you piece all this stuff together, but you'll get the picture, no pun intended, once I take the pictures. Alright, so I've gone ahead and pulled up the files that we took with our 30 picture burst in 2 seconds. So we're just going to shuffle through these nice and quick. Let's go. Let's look for a big flame somewhere. Waiting for that. Yeah, I did have a lot of fun with this, by the way. This is probably like the funnest part of my video I made. Well, that's a good one. No, I didn't burn my camera, if that's what you're wondering. But hey, that's a good picture for something, I'm sure. Something or other. No, that's not reflectiveness. That's all the flame junk. So we can shuffle right through here to the end of the video, and it'll load up. It'll render a little better on other stuff. But hey, that's an example of burst mode. Alright, so now you've got the feel for exactly what burst mode does. We're going to skip right down on here, and now we're into the time lapse. This is where it's going to take photos in set intervals. So you can do every half a second, it's going to take another photo. Every 1 second, 2 seconds, you can move all the way up to every minute. So this is going to be like if you've got your camera all juiced up, you're going to like set it out, say sunset time. You're going to set it at, I would say, every 30 or 10 seconds-ish. And you know, sunset, it doesn't take too long. And it's going to take pictures every interval of that, if you know what I'm saying. And then you can speed it up, kind of like what I was doing with the burst mode. You can speed it up on your computer and you'll have a nice time-lapse photo video type thing. But what I prefer to do, just plain videos to do time-lapse, is not GoPro's preset time-lapse. But that's a pretty cool feature too. I just don't use it very often. And then, so that's basically all the photo settings. Next time I'll get into how to make your camera take pictures inside a video. So while you're filming with your video camera, it can take pictures at set times. Guys, this has been Jared. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in a later video.